We interrupt this public affairs program to bring you a football game.
Liverpool lose 2-1 to Brighton. Hugo Ekitike going off injured within a few minutes before 2 goals from Danny Welbeck, including a close offside decision with a Milos Kerkez goal, a very nice Milos Kerkez goal sandwiched in between, which ultimately didn't matter. Welcome to Kop That. I'm Chris. This is your calm, no clickbait, no rage, no drama, no bullshit look at the game. Let's go into that, shall we? So the game starts pretty well. From a Liverpool point of view, we have the same formation as we saw on Wednesday against Galatasaray. Obviously no Mo Salah this time, which is a problem which plays a part in something coming up. Within a few minutes of the game, James Milner, I thought we were friends, buddy, what the fuck, had smacked Dominic Szoboszlai in the face and given Hugo Ekitike a dead leg. And Ekitike goes off, tries to run it a little bit, tries to play on. It's not happening. He's got to come off. And now we have no Isak, no Salah, and no Ekitike in a season where we're already missing a lot of chances. And without players that create those chances, we're going to struggle. But we bring Curtis Jones on, move Florian Wirtz into a more advanced position alongside Cody Gakpo, and we're still on top. We're still doing okay until around 14 minutes in, when, after being no threat whatsoever, Brighton get their first chance. Naima Dashvili, awful ball out, and he didn't have a good first half. Awful ball, puts out for a throw-in, puts us under pressure. Ball gets launched into the back post, headed back across. Danny Welbeck's there to get above Konate and scored. There's an old coaching thing, and you teach this to kids. If a ball is coming in high and your man can see your number, you're in trouble. And Konate was not. He was asking for a push, and there was hands on his back, but you've seen them given. You can't rely on that. You can't just assume that that's going to happen. He was never getting there. It was poor. It was poor. Literally 2 minutes later, we get a ball put through to Cody Gakpo, who can't get the ball out of his feet in time to get a shot away. McAllister forces Verbruggen into a good save with a header down low. And then a long ball from Amardashvili is quite cockily headed back towards his keeper by Lewis Dunk. Kerkez, who said in his interview after the game that he knows that Lewis Dunk, and he did it with his chest later on as well, he tries to give the ball back to his keeper with his chest or his head quite a lot. So Kerkez has done a bit of studying there. Weirdly, none of the forward players did. But Kerkez carried on his run. Dunk flicks the ball back, and Kerkez reacts with a lovely finish over the top of Verbruggen, and it's 1-1. And honestly, Liverpool played well in the first half. I thought we were well still in the game. There was little signs of any fatigue, but it was kind of there. You were hoping we'd see it out. I mean, in fact, I actually remember saying at half-time that I'd take a scrappy 2-1 win if it meant like everybody was still fit after the game. And there was no other. I mean, Kerkez himself, I think, went down a couple of times in the second half, but there was no other real injury worries. But we didn't get the scrappy 2-1 win. Brighton did. So yeah, second half. There isn't a ton in the way of chances. I think Brighton had the better of it. And Minte puts it. He had a great game, by the way. Puts a great ball in. It's knocked back across goal to Danny Welbeck, who puts it in, who was very, very hesitant when it comes to celebrating. You can actually, if you watch the footage of it, you can actually read what he's saying. When he's like, I don't know, it might be offside. Just wait. Yeah, it takes a minute. It is close, to be fair, but we've seen the image, and the supposed to have a little bit of leniency when it's this close to favour the attacking team, and we've had a couple of goals like that ourselves. So like, I can't really complain with it. It is very close, but ultimately we didn't deserve it. The defending was poor off those crosses again. Van Dijk and Kanate did not have a good day at the office. Like Kanate in particular. Another good save from a free kick from Mamadashvili. And another good one late on when he was 1-on-1 and he comes out, makes himself big. And he actually had, it was a game of two halves for Mamadashvili. He actually had a really good second half. We got a couple of chances. Vert into Jones, forced a good save out of De Bruyne. And other than that, there wasn't a ton of chances. Either way, Brighton had a few. We had a couple in the second half. But yeah, we lose. And it was a blow. It made it a little bit easier when Chelsea got smashed later on. That was it kind of made it softened the blow slightly. The performance in the second half was kind of what I was expecting to creep in earlier. And in hindsight, this is one of those ones in hindsight, I feel like I was going into this with a little bit too much confidence. Not in like, we're going to turn up and get a 3-0, 4-0 win, but the first half, I was like, okay, they're carrying this on. You know, there's energy in there. They're pressing quite well. The attacking, it's going okay, even without Ekatike on the pitch, without Salah on the pitch. We're still doing things. But the second half, and this is where the hindsight comes in, the second half is not really a surprise. But you got to remember, Liverpool played Sunday, Wednesday, and then early away on Saturday. And we played that Sunday and Wednesday game since Brighton had last played. Like, they played, then we played 2 games, and then this early kickoff. So the second half should really have been closer to what we were expecting. But it felt like they had, instead of spreading their energy out over 90 minutes, it felt like they were going for it in the first half, Liverpool, and then started to flag later on. And it was really telling that Brighton were able to bring on Baleba and Matoma later on, and Liverpool were only able to bring on a 17-year-old and Chiesa, who hasn't had a lot of playing time and just does a lot of running around when he comes on. It really laid bare how much there is still left to do with the squad, and I feel like we did let too many players go in the summer. I'm not the only one that thinks that, obviously. It was kind of encouraging in the first half that we were able to start like that, given the quick turnaround in games. I'm more worried about the post-international break games. Like, this isn't gonna ruin my life losing to Brighton. It's a tough place to go, okay? They've been really good recently as well, and we know they're a good team, and they've been a good team for some time now. My main worry was, because I've been saying this all season, you can go back and watch any of these videos and you'll know, even on Wednesday, we won 4-0 and I was still mentioning it, is not taking our chances, especially when we need to. But we just miss a lot of chances anyway. And even though this game didn't have a ton of chances, which is not like Liverpool, we do usually create a lot, we just miss a lot, and that's the issue. It shows for all of the shit that Mo Salah's got this season. I'm just going to bring something up here. In the expected assists, which is like obviously based around chances created, he's literally just behind Florian Wirtz in terms of chances created. Ekatike is obviously supposed to be the one on the end of chances rather than creating them. When you're missing one of your top creators of chances, because again, this isn't actually chances created, this is expected assists. And you notice the difference when he's not there, because he does create, And in this formation, you're seeing he's in much more dangerous positions against Galatasaray. So him going off and him missing this game was actually a big deal, because when he goes off, you've lost somebody who, in that position especially, can create out of nothing. Especially when he's linking up with like Verts, and actually saw a bit of that on Wednesday as well. And when Ekitike goes off, we're left pretty toothless up front. So finding our way back into the game when 2-1 down, like at 1-0, you still kind of expected it. But once we started flagging a little bit, the chances were not coming thick and fast after that. And when we went 2-1 down, it became a real struggle. And you could really start to see the difference in energy levels. You could tell that we'd played 2 games since Brighton had last played their game. And like that's worrying, obviously, in terms of like fitness. But it's especially annoying because I feel like if we'd have got a decent result there, we've got 2 weeks of a better mood. Whereas now I've got to have 2 weeks of people getting their Alonso videos out and telling me a story that hasn't actually fucking happened. Alonso's first 3 signings identified, and he's not our manager. For all of the praise that Jurgen Klopp got for bringing back the belief and things like that, you've got to realise he brought back the belief again. The belief actually came back under Brendan Rodgers. There was an 18-month period there when we genuinely, well, first of all, we were the most entertaining team in the league, but we actually genuinely thought we were going to win the league at one point, and we should have. It wasn't for defensive frailties, but we turned into believers that season. Then that belief drifted off, and Klopp eventually brought it back. But, and this is a crucial difference, what Klopp brought back inadvertently was this sense of entitlement. And Slot didn't help himself by winning the league right away. Because what we've got is not a fan base that is familiar to me. Because it's toxic. And seeing adults act the way they have been is it doesn't feel right. And they're like making excuses for themselves because they're not entertained. And like, mate, we haven't always been entertaining. You ever see a Rafa Benitez away performance in Europe? You could compare that to so many fucking games this season. But this wasn't all around then. And weirdly, this is going to be a subject of, because I've scrapped my other video because the formation's changed. There's not really much point going into it anymore, so I've scrapped that. And I've got 2 weeks of no Liverpool games. So I'm going to do a time travel video to see what people would have thought 10 years ago, 20 years ago, to take this attitude now and apply it to 10 years ago, so 15, 16, which was a really good example because that season we had big players move on in the summer. We actually changed manager during the season, early in the season. And it's the attitude around that, because the attitude at the time was not, despite the end of the previous season, the attitude around them was not the same as it is now. Oh God, no. And Rodgers didn't win anything. And he wasn't getting half the shit the slot's been getting. Yeah, I want to apply now to then. The like the very beginning of the Klopp era, to show you what we've become. Because the attitude is horrendous. It's fucking horrendous. Our fan base is a bunch of fucking hysterical children in what is a difficult season. It's being painted as like the worst season ever. It's a disaster. It's fucking awful. There's no positivity at all, and it's fucking, mate, I've seen worse seasons. How have you not seen worse seasons? I mean, granted, some people might have been too young for some of this. I mean, the things I'm talking about, we're going back over a decade. Some of them might have just been kids, can't really remember that. But the 20-year-ago one, it's really going to be like 21 years, when Rafa first started. And that first season, because there's another general attitude in there. Because Liverpool finished 5th that year. Everyone remembers Istanbul. But we finished 5th. We actually finished outside the Champions League places that year, behind Everton as well. Which led to a fucking hilarious summer, which Blues are going to hate me for if I bring it up. But yeah, first thing Rafa did, held the door open for Michael Owen on the way out, when you look at that squad and things like that. So there's going to be some nice parallels, but I'm not just looking at the team and the managers. I'm going to be telling you what the fans were like. Because we need to get back to that. Honestly. You've seen what happens when you support your team. We play better. So to see videos now of it's the team's responsibility to get the fans up. No. You have one job. Lift your team. And all we've done this season is fucking punch them down after everything. And it's no wonder they're going into games looking beaten sometimes. And it's because they've had this all week. They've all got fucking Instagram and fucking all manner of social media and shit like that. And they're getting this launched at them by fucking people who are supposed to be lifting them back up and supporting them. Like that game on fucking Saturday, that wasn't a disaster of a game. We've had worse performances than that this season, and that just looked tired, which happens at some point every season. But obviously, because it's this season, it just gets added on to, because loads of people, one, already want the manager out and have done for a long time. And I still feel like a lot of people dug in on that towards the end of last year because they were adamant that he was going to go. And then when that didn't happen, because that's on them for making a stupid assumption, and it was a stupid assumption, when it didn't happen, because it's the age of social media, you have to, instead of saying, okay, maybe we are different and we do give our managers time, you had to just double down, because you can't be wrong. Can't do that in this day and age. Like, all I want is the team to just shut everyone up, and they do it from time to time. That quick turnaround, I'm worried about what the players are going to come back like after the international break, because they're going to end up playing. Most of them are going to end up playing twice during that time. There's going to be travel involved, and they're coming straight back to City away. I mean, I'm hoping we've got players back fit, but we started the game on Saturday with no Alisson and no Salah for the first time in 2 years. Like, that was the last time ago that neither of them started a fucking league game for Liverpool. There's usually one of them. We've lost Isak, we've lost Salah, and then lost Ekatike. That's why I was hoping to scrape a win. But it was a frustrating watch, and I think it was more frustrating because I was hoping. I think when Ekatike went down and he had to come off, I think I was more hope against hope. I was actually expecting maybe usually supportive supporters until this year. You know, the "you'll never walk alone" people. You know, those. I was expecting them to actually realise right off the bat, oh shit, yeah, the manager had to deal with a fair bit this season, especially when it comes to injuries. Maybe a little bit of sympathy. And I'm starting to see more of it, which is encouraging. But it's getting lost in all of the fucking hysterical, entitled rage. It's nice to know that during a difficult time, people will lose their fucking minds. I'd love to see what people on this side of social media, after years and years and years of this, I'd love to have seen what people would have been like in previous eras during actual, really rough, almost disaster seasons. I'd love to have seen what this attitude would have done to people back then. They would have given themselves a fucking aneurysm. It would have just been the sheer anger of it all. Yeah, story of the game started well. Lost yet another player to injury. Started flagging towards the end and lost. That's your story. We need to stay calm, people. I want to use a word that I've been using more and more and more as the season's gone on. Patience. Whatever happened to it? If you find out, let me know. Answers on a postcard. Fucking hell. Where did that phrase come from? I haven't heard that for years. Answers on a postcard. Answers on a postcard. Answers in the whatever the comment section version postcard thing is. We'll be back after the international break. I'll be doing me. I need to think of an actual title for it. So I'm taking suggestions on that as well, actually, about me going back a decade and another decade and applying this view to then. So that should be sometime next week. It's the international break, which I'll not be paying attention to because fuck it. Why would I? None of these international teams are Liverpool, are they? Why would I give a fuck? So yeah, enjoy a couple of weeks of not losing your mind. And I'll see you soon. Until then, up the Reds and slot in.